Now let me teach you about markers in Logic Pro X, how to create them, how to use them for navigation, project overview, and basically boosting your workflow when recording and working in the sequencer. The marker track is also a very good reason for why I so strongly recommend you to have a keyboard with a numpad. So if you don't have a numpad on your keyboard, I would even go so far as to invest in an external numpad to add to your studio setup, because that is how much you will be using it when producing music in Logic Pro X. Alright, so the marker track is part of Logic's amazing feature called global tracks, which basically are master tracks that are present throughout all of your project from the start to the end, but you choose if and how you use them. To access the global tracks, you simply press G on your keyboard and they will pop up here in the top of the sequencer. Then if you right click on any of these tracks up here, you get this window where you choose which global tracks you are going to use in your project. For example, let's say you score to picture, well then a movie global track will be needed. The tempo track if you want to automate the tempo throughout your project. And of course we have the marker track and arrangement track. Let's focus on the marker track for now. As you can see, there are no markers yet in this project, so we will create some. But first, let's go through the key commands for the markers. So let's first start by closing the global tracks area by clicking G. And next, you simply position your playhead where you want to create a new marker. Let's say here on bar 17. Let's zoom in a bit. And then you have the key command Alt or Option and quotation mark. Alt quotation mark is create marker. Then if you want to rename it, because it will simply say marker 1 as you can see here, you hold down Shift and quotation mark. Let's rename it into build. And then if you want to delete it, you hold down Alt and press the backspace key, which will delete the marker. So again, create marker, Alt, quotation mark, rename, Shift, quotation mark, and delete, Alt, backspace. And finally, if you have a bunch of markers, let's create one here, let's move on to the next, create one there, and another one there. Now those are marker 1, 2, and 3, and all markers to get to the position with the playhead, you use the numpad on your keyboard. So if I press 1, the playhead will go to the first marker. If I press 2, it will go to the second marker, and 3, and so on. And it doesn't matter what these are named, just the sequence of the markers. Of course, you can have more than 9 markers in your project. And if you want to go to the markers 10 to 19, you simply hold down Ctrl when you press the numbers on your numpad. So Ctrl plus number 0 to 9 are the markers 10 to 19. Now to customize and work with markers, I recommend that you go into the global tracks section because that is much easier. So press G on your keyboard and you will open up the global tracks. And here you can select the markers and let's move this to the start of the track. And let's say I want to shorten it to be 16 bars. And you can always see if I hold down here, length 16000, meaning that is exactly 16 bars long. And then you can move this back as well. Now I made this 8 bars in length, then I can move this here, and so on. Then I also recommend you to color your marker regions for better structure and overview of your project. And you simply do this by opening up the color picker, Alt-C, select one of these markers, and then select a color. Let's go with green for the first marker, and yellow for the next one, and red for this one. Next, close the color picker, Alt-C, close the global tracks, G, and when you use markers, even if you close the global tracks, you can always see them up here. And when you also use colors for every marker, you get a great perspective and overview of your entire project. I also strongly recommend that you name all your markers, as I've done here, chorus 1. And I find the easiest way to do this is to simply hit G to get to the global tracks, double click on the name, and let's say this is the verse, let's say this is the intro. And if you want to create another marker, you can also do it from the global tracks by going with your playhead to the position where you want to add a marker and clicking here on the plus sign. Double click that and say that is a bridge or something like that. Use the color picker to add a new color for it. And also, finally, if you close this, you can always see an overview of all your markers and their position and length. Simply click D to open up your list editors, go into markers, and here you will have a list of all your markers in your project with their beginning position, their name, as well as their length. So once you have set up, colorized, named, and organized your markers with a beginning and end position like this, it is super great to navigate in the sequencers quickly and efficiently simply by using the numpad like I do now. So you can use markers to quickly listen back to a section in your track, for example the chorus. Press 3 on your numpad to get to the chorus, hit spacebar to play that part. Or you can use it to record something new. Let's say I want to add something in the verse, click on the track I want to record, and then toggle record and record from here. You can use it for editing and much more. But basically, navigating quickly in your project using markers is a great way to boost your workflow. Subscribe now and watch a lot more videos on composing music, producing music, sound design, Logic Pro X, and much more. I'll see you in the next video, my friends.